How do you calculate net pump pressure for fire pump operations? Imagine you're standing at the fire scene, ready to operate the fire pump. You need to know exactly how much pressure the pump is putting out to keep the fire under control. That's where calculating net pump pressure becomes essential. It's the real pressure the pump produces to move water through hoses and nozzles after accounting for all the losses and pressures along the way. Firefighters relying on this number to make sure they have enough pressure to reach the fire and keep it from spreading. To figure out net pump pressure, it depends on how the pump is working. If the pump is drafting water from a static source like a pond or tank, you add the discharge pressure to the suction pressure, which is usually a vacuum or lift. Since the suction pressure is negative when drafting, you add that vacuum to the discharge pressure. For example, if the discharge pressure gauge reads 128 pounds per square inch and the suction gauge shows a 6 pounds per square inch vacuum, the net pump pressure is 134 pounds per square inch. If the pump is connected to a pressurized water source like a fire hydrant or relay system, you subtract the intake pressure from the discharge pressure. So, if the discharge pressure is 128 pounds per square inch and the intake pressure is 40 pounds per square inch, the net pump pressure is 88 pounds per square inch. But that's not all. You also need to consider other factors that affect pressure. Friction loss in the hose depends on hose diameter, length, and flow rate. Larger hoses or longer runs increase friction loss. You can find standard charts or use formulas to estimate this loss. Appliance pressure loss accounts for nozzles, valves, or Ys, which all cause some pressure drop. Elevation change also matters. For every foot of elevation gain, you add about half a pound per square inch to your calculations. Once you have all these numbers, you add them up to find the total pump discharge pressure needed at the pump panel. The formula looks like this. Pump discharge pressure equals net pump pressure plus friction loss plus appliance loss plus elevation pressure. This way, the pump operator can set the right pressure to ensure the water reaches the fire with enough force to control it. In practice, always measure your intake and discharge pressures carefully. Use standard charts or formulas to estimate hose friction loss. Adjust for elevation when working on upper floors or hilly terrain. Calculating net pump pressure helps you operate the pump safely and effectively, making sure your fire streams are strong enough to do the job. Remember, knowing how to do this keeps everyone safe and ensures the fire gets put out quickly.